All right,
Joe Bolden,
love it.
guys.
How you guys doing?
Good, Coach. How are
So
you?
good to be here. Good to be with Coach Huff and the rest of the guys and stuff like that. Pretty good in my short time here. It's been really good to see how these guys have worked and the buy-in that they have in the special teams and the importance, obviously, to Coach Huff and in this team and which special teams is, and then the opportunity to also coach the Nickels here is awesome, and I couldn't pass it up. And obviously, watching Coach Huff the last couple of years, I have had some good buddies that have either coached for him, worked for him. My cousin was a quarterback, got recruited by him. And my uncle walked up to me when I took the job. He's like, "You're going to work for a dude." I'm like, "All right, awesome. I love it." And through those conversations I have with Coach Huff, there's a lot of values that he and I share that are directly in line with one another. I've always wanted to work for a guy that's hungry to win, that's passionate about winning, that's willing to work hard, which is a lost art nowadays. I'm raised old school. My dad's high school football coach, uncle's high school football coach. That's all I know. You're not getting what you work for, or excuse me, you're not getting what's handed to you. You're getting what you work for. And if you work harder, the benefits will be better at the end of it. And I think you guys saw that and how Coach went about it at the last place he was, and then this special place here, down here in the South and at Southern Miss. Like I said, it's an opportunity to get down where football is unbelievably important, where there's athletes galore. It's awesome recruit down here. It's good. I love the heat. All right, I love the weather. I'd rather be in that than freeze my tail off. So it's been really good. So excited to be here, excited to get to work, excited to open up today with practice number 1, and we're hitting the ground running.
Coach, just to start, talk about your philosophy. What kind of fundamentals do you believe in? What are kind of your ideals?
Yeah, so to me, there's a strong foundation that you have in special teams that also has to align with the head coach's values of the football team. So when we got to talking and kind of progressed in this and getting down here, effort and toughness, like effort's a non-negotiable. If you can't play with great effort, you should not be on the field anywhere in college football, right? There's people dying to be on the field with you. So if I have to coach effort or running to the football or straining to the football, then you can come stand by me, because I'm not going to, and I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to waste those 10 other guys on the field talking about you getting faster, running to the ball hard, right? Like, if you don't want it, you're obviously not going to be out there. But to me, toughness, there's a mental side of that, there's a physical side of that. To me, the game of football nowadays, you have to be mentally strong enough to handle all of the adjustments, all of the checks, both offensive, defensively, and special teams, because guys are really, you get to sit there with an iPad on the sideline, and they kind of, whether good coaching or bad coaching still occurs, right? You're going to have to make some adjustments. You're going to have to, communicate those with the players, but also the coaching staff that's helping you as well. So to me, the mental side and your mental ability to be a tough guy is important. And then obviously the physical part of it. Like, there's so many people in today's world that are scared of hard work, right? That are scared of running straight into another human being at full speed. Like, that's the game of football, and you shouldn't shy away from it, right? You either love contact or don't like contact, right? And to me, the physical toughness that BA does down in the weight room, that these guys are getting trained with in the off season, that coach has talked about time and time again. I can't stand being around soft people. They won't last around me. I know for a fact in my time with Coach Huff, they probably won't last around Coach Huff. So to me, you have to be both physically and mentally tough. Those are the two foundations that I think Coach does a great job on with the football team, but also we're going to have to carry over in special teams. And then to me, we're going to have to play fast. We're going to be disciplined and play penalty free, right? You can't shoot yourself in the foot and expect a good outcome. You shoot yourself in the foot and try to run a marathon. So you tell me how that works, right? It's not going to. So we make sure we're on our P's and Q's. We got to do simple. We got to play simple. We got to play simple, but we also have to play fast, right? So work for guys that do simple better, right? So tie your shoes better than the other guy, right? Wake up, make your bed better than the other guy. Those are simple things, right? Just align and listen to the play count, or align and block your man better than that guy does, using the right fundamentals: the blocking, block destruction, tackling, running, all those things that football is.
Coach, looks like y'all have a lot of options returning or coming here in terms of return specialists, but can you kind of speak to what you have on hand now? You may want to get more later, but at long snapper and place kicker?
Yeah, so what walking into Southern Miss, like obviously we got some young guys on the roster, a couple of some other guys came in. It's really, kind of like Picasso. You know what I'm saying? You get this blank canvas. You're walking in, you get this blank canvas. How do you want to teach these guys? What is the appropriate way to teach these guys? And every single guy is going to learn different. And every single guy has a different capability, right? So to me, if you're an Australian guy and you can roll punt really good and you put the ball on your foot and you can place it really well, then I need to know what I need to do as a coach in order to maximize that. But I also need to understand, okay, well, he does this well and this well and this well. And then you get and you say, okay, well, the snap's really good here. How can we make that better? So to me, I just viewed the entire opportunity to come in and say, hey, this is a blank slate right here. We have a lot of good football players on this roster. We will continue to add to those that core group, right? And it's my job to develop them, right? So if I'm not developing them, you get fired in life. Like you either do your job or you don't, right? You either go out and you make the kick or you don't make the kick, right? If you don't make the kick, you will not be kicking. It's that simple, right? Like to me, it's in life, it's especially special teams. You go out and you shank a punt. When it's the fourth quarter, there's 45 seconds left. They need the ball back. They're going to get the ball back right here. We have to make a punt. You shank the punt, and they get the ball at the 50-yard line. The entire time, the announcers are going to talk about how terrible of a punt you just had and how terrible. They won't talk about the fact that you threw the ball into the stands in the first quarter on a 3rd and 1 or whatever play, which I know Coach Anderson ain't going to allow. But what I'm saying is they don't talk about the 50% completion rate or the fumble here or the big play here or the punt return here. They talk about what's bad because that's what people like to hear. It's like the news nowadays. They talk about everything that's bad. Well, let's talk about what we can do with the guys we got here, what we're going to do with the guys we got in here. And let's get them to the point where they are better than everybody else in this league and challenging everybody else in the country in regards to punting, snapping, and kicking.
Who's all just in the mix of the kicking job itself right now?
Gotcha. So the kicking job we have one guy mid-year kind of come in who's a true kicker, and then we had a freshman guy come in early enrollee that's a punter kicker, and then we have the transfer in. Everybody's really in the mix. I haven't seen them punt in a game in person. I haven't seen them perform in a high stress environment. So to me, if you got a pulse and you think you can punt the ball, let me see. Right? Now, if you're on the team, let me see. Right? If not, we have to find those guys. We have to find those guys that can perform. So to me, we'll see as we go. Ask me in a couple weeks, and I'll have a clearer answer for you. And I'm not trying to be vague, but to me, we've done a whole lot. Those guys have gone out on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm sure they've kicked 100 balls, right? But there's 100 balls with 0 people in that stadium, with 0 coach standing right there, with 0 pressure, with the 10 other guys aren't on the field. You're kicking off a stick, or you're spinning the ball in your hand, you're walking the line, and you're punting, right? To me, as we get into team periods this spring, and we get into some competitive periods where there's really some manufactured pressure, I'll have a clearer answer there. But right now, I have the equal opportunity for everybody. If you can put your foot on the ball, let me see.
To go to the other side of the kicking game, Coach Huff had mentioned Ti Mims as the first guy from the old roster that he wanted to bring back.
You said who? Sorry.
Ti Mims.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the first guys he wanted to bring back. What have you seen from him as far as just the tape and whatnot?
Yeah, Ti is quick. He has ability. To me, when I'm evaluating returns, and the beautiful thing is our head coach was a special teams coordinator in the Big Ten. So the understanding he has for the game and just in general offense, defense, and special teams is something that I appreciate and that I know I respect. Seeing those guys on film, obviously Mims is electric with the ball in his hands, right? How do we create better ball security? It's my job how do I create explosive plays for him? I want the ball in space in the return game. So how do I get the ball in space? Well, you have to create the space because there's 10, 11 guys running down to knock the crap out of the ball carrier. So to me, it starts up front with what are you teaching fundamentally that's going to create that space for the returner. like Ti, who's an elite player when he has the ball in his hand. So, to me, I'm excited to see him get going this spring. There's a you got Micah in there, you got Ian in there, you got a whole bunch of other guys. You got Smooth in there. I mean, all of those guys are going to be really good with the ball in their hands. To me, it's what situation we put him in there and who's going to be the best out of those guys, because the best will play.
Coach, you're from Cincinnati, I believe. Living in Hattiesburg, I'm just curious, just what it's kind of been like for you, the adjustment. I know you coached all across college football, but just kind of talk to me about that, I guess.
Well, I haven't lived in Cincinnati since I was maybe 18 years old. So it's been a long time, but my whole family's still there. Like I said, I got family just in regards to high school football there. It's in my belief, and obviously where you're from, you get a little special pride in. Like, I'm from there. We never lost an out-of-state school at my high school. And actually, Corey Myrick went to my high school. We had to get that fixed, right? All right. But what I'm saying is some of the best high school football is up in that state. Obviously, down here in the South, there's elite high school football. But proud of where I came from. Where living there, it's like Friday night. What are you doing? So my wife's from northwest suburb of Chicago. All right. She didn't know, like I'm like, yeah, it's Friday night. Like, I make the assumption it is high school football, and we're going to Skyline Chili afterwards. That's what it is, right? That's period. That's what we're doing, right? And on Saturday, where are you going to visit? What high school or what college are you going to visit? And to me, I made the assumption that was like growing up there, like that's important everywhere. Well, she grew up in the northwest suburb of Chicago, where it was like, oh, Friday night, what are you doing on Friday night? Pizza party? I don't know. Like, no, football, right? So it's good to be back in a town in an area where it's like, what's Friday night? What's high school football? What's Saturday? College football? What's Sunday? NFL football? So in regards to football-wise, like, it feels good to be back in that environment. When it comes to living situation, right, I've lived everywhere. I mean, I opened my front door and the ocean's right there, the Pacific Ocean. I walked down in Boca and I worked at FAU for a short period of time. I mean, out in Oklahoma with everything under the sun, rolling through there. God bless those people in the fires right now. And then obviously the tornadoes right up the road here the other day. It's in my opinion, my ability to take my 4 kids and show them the United States before I show them the world is important to me. They need to understand different cultures. They need to understand different preferences. But they ultimately are going to be raised in a house where Jesus is number 1, right? Family's number 2, and football's number 3. And in that order. Now for my girls, I'm sure my wife will have them playing tennis here soon. So.
Coach, a little off topic. Cincinnati, chili on spaghetti, talk to me.
Yeah, so that's the only way to eat it. I think the rest of the country and the rest of the world's all jacked up. At Skyline Chili, if you're watching, if you hear me, all right, I'll get you my address. I'm not going to say it right now. I'll get you my address. I need that package, all right? And you guys can send some of that Grater's ice cream too. So.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Are we good?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I got a couple.